A spokesperson for former WWE employee Janel Grant, who is still involved in an active lawsuit against WWE and its former chairman Vince McMahon, has issued a statement on Brock Lesnar's return to WWE over the weekend. Nick Khan and Triple H reportedly reached out weeks ago to the former Universal Champion to bring him back to WWE. Karrion Kross and Scarlet, their contracts reportedly are up this weekend, and WWE is still yet to offer them a brand new contract. The Vision stand tall to close last night's edition of Raw on Netflix. Gunther is out indefinitely following his SummerSlam defeat to CM Punk. Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella get personal during a promo battle on Raw. Lara Valkyria says she needs to get out of the Bayley vortex. A third El Grande Americano appears last night on Raw. Penta steals Xavier Woods' black hat. Sheamus and Rusev 3 ends in a double countout. John Cena is advertised for the post-SummerSlam edition of Smackdown. And Nia Jax's match for tonight's edition of NXT is confirmed. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the latest on Brock Lesnar's return to WWE, beginning with a statement from former WWE employee Janel Grant. Spokesperson, of course, Janel Grant, the former employee of WWE, who's involved in an active lawsuit against WWE and former chairman Vince McMahon, in which Brock Lesnar is named 44 times. Brock Lesnar, of course, made his shocking return to WWE at SummerSlam over the weekend, entering the stadium after the main event and laying out John Cena, who had just lost the undisputed WWE Championship. It was Lesnar's first WWE appearance since SummerSlam 2023. In January of 2024, Lesnar was implicated in a lawsuit filed by former employee of WWE Janel Grant against Vince McMahon and WWE, accusing McMahon of sex trafficking and sexual assault. In her amended lawsuit in February of 2025, Lesnar was outright named. He is not, though, a defendant in the lawsuit. A spokesperson for Janel Grant issued the following statement on Lesnar's return, saying, quote, "For far too long, abuse was allowed to thrive under WWE's leadership. Instead of righting this wrong, WWE has done nothing to ensure those responsible are held accountable. This attempt to sweep misconduct under the rug will backfire. We look forward to the full set of facts, including those about Mr. Lesnar, coming out in a court of law where they belong. But in the meantime, we refer you back to Janel Grant's updated complaint, which outlines in detail the abuse she endured by McMahon and others while employed at WWE." Now, in terms of the return on WWE Recall, Michael Cole gave more insight into Lesnar's return at SummerSlam over the weekend. He said, quote, "I had the opportunity to sit down with WWE President Nick Khan and WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, and I asked them a simple question. When was it determined that Brock Lesnar would return to WWE? They told me they reached out to Brock a number of weeks ago and said, 'We believe it's time for you to come home.' Brock Lesnar said, 'Let's do it,' and here we are." Of course, in January 2024, as I mentioned, Lesnar was implicated in that lawsuit filed by Janel Grant against Vince McMahon and WWE, accusing McMahon of sex trafficking and sexual assault. In the amended lawsuit in February of this year, Lesnar was outright named, but he once again, to confirm, is not a defendant in the lawsuit. Now, in terms of this return to WWE, we've got more details courtesy of Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select. Now, of course, when this lawsuit was originally filed in January of 2024, WWE pulled Lesnar from the Royal Rumble and his planned WrestleMania feud with Gunther. A WWE source, according to Fightful, told at the time that Lesnar would not be back anytime soon, and the company and WWE 2K went to time and expense to largely remove him from the game that was just released shortly thereafter. Throughout 2024, Fightful say they were told that as of that time, there were no real conversations regarding Lesnar returning as of right then, but he had remained under contract with the company. Now, contrary to misinformation, Lesnar has always remained on the WWE Superstars page on its website. Now, Fightful say they learned on Saturday that the John Cena versus Cody Rhodes main event was being kept very quiet, even from writers, producers, staff, and production crew. As of that evening, a number of those same people still hadn't heard anything about Brock Lesnar and wondered if The Rock was going to be making an appearance. It appears that Brock Lesnar actually got into town while the SummerSlam pre-show was on the air. Some of the staff started to make their way to the stage to start filming things midway through the main event. Lesnar was reportedly backstage by about 9:15 p.m. Eastern during the main event. Now, sources backstage that Fightful spoke to said they could tell something was up based on what people weren't saying as opposed to what was actually being said. Now, it was heavily implied but not outright stated that John Cena wanted to face Brock Lesnar on his retirement tour. Virtually all of the media suspected that this is related to why WWE has moved away from press conferences. Reportedly, dozens of media traveled into town for the show and weren't told this was the case until Saturday. Fightful say they've reached out to a number of WWE executives and spokesmen for an official comment on Lesnar or the legal situation. There has been no legal quote clearing of wrongdoing, but he isn't actively being sued or prosecuted. Now, in terms of additional details on this return, Dave Meltzer said the following on Wrestling Observer Radio as to when he got cleared to come back to WWE television. He said, quote, 4 weeks ago, WWE Legal cleared him, Brock Lesnar. As far as why, I don't know. And that's something to speculate on, but there's a lot of stuff. Obviously, everything relates to the Janel Grant lawsuit, and WWE Legal is either confident that their thing goes to arbitration and Lesnar's not a factor at that point, or they're close to a settlement, and at that point Lesnar's not a factor, or somebody there just had a change of mind, and I don't know which one of those it is. I do know everyone figured this out, but I can tell you also factually that the reason they didn't do the press conferences was because of this angle. So, of course, if we get any more details on that, we'll let you know in a future video. Now, an update here when it comes to Karrion Kross and Scarlett's WWE future. Fightful Select say they have learned from sources backstage at WWE Raw last night that Karrion Kross and Scarlett were not at Raw and were not planned for the show. Beyond that, Fightful say they've also learned an update on their contract status. Fightful Select say they've been told by a WWE higher-up that Karrion Kross and Scarlett's deals are up this weekend and that a new WWE contract hasn't been offered to either of them. However, to Fightful's knowledge, they weren't informed that their contracts would be set to lapse, as other talents have been told when their contracts have been set to expire and they've not been offered a new deal, similar to the likes of Shotzi, Baron Corbin, and others. Going to Raw last night, The Vision closed the show, but it began with LA Knight getting another crack at Seth Rollins. Fresh off his shocking return at SummerSlam, Seth Rollins kicked off Monday's episode of Raw alongside Paul Heyman, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker. Heyman spoke first, hyping up each individual member of the faction before introducing the new World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. The Visionary clowned the fans for doubting him and chanting for CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Rollins went on to reveal that he only told 2 people about his fake injury, Becky Lynch and Paul Heyman. LA Knight hit the ring to a major reaction, quickly accusing Rollins of faking an injury to get out of a match with him. Knight then bragged about his pinfall victory at Saturday night's main events, saying that he is going to hurt Rollins even more than he originally planned to. Rollins teased facing Knight before eventually declining the match. Adam Pearce came out and criticized Rollins for faking the injury before revealing that he will indeed defend the World Heavyweight Championship against LA Knight on the show. That went on to happen, but the Vision are seemingly in control of Raw. The main event between Seth Rollins and LA Knight ended in a disqualification when CM Punk interfered. Knight wasn't happy with Punk, but before things got too heated between them, Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed attacked both men. Breakker and Reed were barred from ringside during the main event match. After laying out Punk and Knight, Rollins thought his night was over, but Roman Reigns hit the ring, taking out Breakker and Reed on his way. Rollins initially ran off, but as Reigns was dealing with Breakker and Reed, Rollins hit a stomp on Reigns to take him out. Breakker then delivered a spear and Reed hit multiple tsunami splashes before once again taking Reigns' shoes. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce had a heated conversation with Rollins, but the damage had been done. Now, as far as what happened off the air, we've got more details on that as well. Post-match, as mentioned, Roman Reigns made his presence felt, leveling Reed and Breakker only to fall victim by Seth Rollins. Beating down the OTC, a spear and multiple tsunamis made sure Rollins didn't get up. After Raw went off the air, footage emerged of what happened between LA Knight, CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Footage from Netflix Sports on Twitter shows a dejected Roman Reigns limping out of the ring before sitting on the apron and taking a moment to compose his shoeless self. More footage has also emerged showing Knight, Punk and Reigns getting into it as they made their way back up the ramp. Initially, Punk and Knight can be seen having something of an exchange surrounded by officials attempting to calm the heated situation. Seconds later, Reigns can be seen walking up, favouring his side before gesturing in the direction of Punk and Knight. With CM Punk making a "what time is it" gesture, Reigns becomes heated, appearing to tell the best in the world that he doesn't know about all that shit. Of course, we get any more details about future plans, we'll let you know in an upcoming video. Gunther, he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to CM Punk at SummerSlam, and he is seemingly sidelined indefinitely. On Monday's WWE Raw, Michael Cole announced that former WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther suffered a septal hematoma and orbital blowout fracture at WWE SummerSlam and would be out indefinitely. Gunther lost the WWE World Heavyweight Championship to CM Punk at Night 1 of SummerSlam. During the match, Punk tripped the ring general who was standing on the announce table. He fell face first onto the table and came up bleeding after the fall. Punk defeated Gunther after 2 GTS strikes, winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Of course, if we get any more details on his condition, we'll let you know, but it had been rumoured by the likes of Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Live that he was set to undergo surgery for a possible nose injury. Becky Lynch and Nikki Bella got personal last night. They went toe-to-toe on the mic. Nikki Bella shockingly interrupted Becky Lynch's promo on WWE Raw, agreeing that she is one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. Then Bella's tone shifted, recalled her early confidence in the man, saying that she has turned out to be a disappointment. Lynch fired back at Bella, clowning on her for having her talking scenes cut from Happy Gilmore 2. Lynch even claimed that she was the one that got Bella's scenes cut from the movie. Bella tried to go down the relationship route, saying that Lynch lies just like her husband Seth Rollins. Lynch wasn't soft with her response, saying that her and Rollins are the greatest couple in wrestling history before poking fun at Bella's former relationship with John Cena. The same segment came to a close moments later as Becky Lynch nailed Bella with a cheap shot moments after she suggested having a match for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Lara, Valkyria and Bayley, of course, they've both challenged for the Women's Intercontinental Championship against Becky Lynch but come up short, and Lara Valkyria has kept it honest with the role model. Whether it was intentional or not, Bayley was a major factor in Lara Valkyria's loss to Becky Lynch at WWE SummerSlam as she punched Valkyria in the face with her chain-wrapped fist. Monday's episode of Raw was another turning point in the relationship with Valkyria and Bayley as Valkyria confronted the former role model backstage. Valkyria was very serious with her tone, telling Bayley that she needs to stay the hell away from her and they aren't friends or even enemies at this point. The segment ended with Valkyria storming away from Bayley, who looked frustrated and defeated. After her loss at SummerSlam, Lara Valkyria will not be able to challenge for the Women's Intercontinental Championship as long as Becky Lynch is the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Now, the mystery surrounding El Grande Americano continued last night on WWE Raw, with a third El Grande Americano coming to WWE. Dominic Mysterio was in action against Dragon Lee on WWE Raw when Lee got a visit from an old friend and then another old friend. A first El Grande Americano jumped on the apron, followed by a second Americano. Lee knocked the first 2 Americanos off the apron, but a third Americano got on the apron and caught Lee with a kick. Dominic hit Lee with his boot to secure the victory. Now, a second El Grande Americano debuted last Monday on Raw, but now it seems like there's a third edition of the Masked Luchador. Speaking of luchadors, Penta aura farmed last night. Monday's edition of Raw was a big one for Grayson Waller as he was able to accidentally secure a singles match against Penta after getting in Adam Pearce's face backstage. The match went as you would expect, with Penta picking up the pinfall victory after nailing Waller with a Mexican Destroyer. After the match, the New Day joined Waller in the ring to check on him. Penta ended up stealing Woods' very fashionable hat, hitting his signature strut in the process. Then the popular luchador knocked over Woods and Kingston with the hat at ringside before wiping him out with a dive. Zero Miedo indeed. Sheamus Rusev 3 took place last night on Raw, but they're still tied up. On the August 4th edition of WWE Raw, Sheamus and Rusev attempted to close out their singles trilogy with another dynamic match, but in the end, a true winner wasn't crowned as both men were counted out after Sheamus got carried away while delivering his signature chest beats to Rusev on the outside. A mini brawl ensued after the double count-out, with officials eventually pulling both superstars away from each other. As things stand, Sheamus and Rusev are still at a deadlock, with each star holding one victory over the other. Rusev scored his win on the June 30th edition of Raw, while Sheamus picked up his victory on the July 21st edition of the show. When they can have another rubber match remains to be seen. John Cena, he will be seen Smackdown on Friday night. John Cena and the new WWE Champion Cody Rhodes are set for Smackdown. Fresh off the events of WWE SummerSlam, John Cena is set to appear on Friday's episode of Smackdown. This announcement was made on Monday's episode of Raw. Cena will get the chance to address SummerSlam, where he lost the undisputed WWE Championship to Cody Rhodes in a street fight. Cena was also attacked by returning Brock Lesnar at the event. Furthermore, Cody Rhodes was also confirmed for the show. Of course, that taking place on USA Network on Friday. Now, Cena was originally announced for the show earlier this year. After SmackDown, he will only have 11 appearances left as an active in-ring WWE competitor before he retires. And finally, Nia Jax will be in action tonight live on WWE NXT. Nia Jax will take on Thea Hale on the August 5th episode of WWE NXT. The match was announced on social media on Monday. Jax made a surprising return to NXT on July 29th, attacking Lash Legend and helping Fallon Henley. This adds to a lineup that includes an NXT Women's North American Championship match and an NXT Tag Team Championship match as well. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.